Commissioner.
Right at 6 o'clock. Ooh, you're good. All right. We'll go ahead and call our meeting to order, the city council business meeting for Thursday, October 6th, 2022. It is 6 p.m. Lindsay, would you call the roll?
Councilmember Lester,
Here.
Baker,
Here.
Riva, Cool,
Here.
Livingston,
Here.
Mayor Tom Phillips.
I am here as well. Okay. Item number 2 on the agenda is Pledge of Allegiance. Would you please rise and say the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Next on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Would anybody like to move any of the consent agenda items to the regular agenda? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
By Cool, seconded by Baker. All those in favor, aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same. Motion carries. Item 4 is welcome of guests and public comment. This will be for non-agenda items. You get a 3-minute time limit. We can't take action on these tonight because they're not on the agenda. Also, if you'd like to comment on any item in the consent agenda, now would be the time. So
I did the whole 3 minutes.
you can have 3 plus maybe a little more.
Okay, Judy Corcoran, 1736 Bristol. And I'm here on behalf of Norwalk Hometown Pride to say a big thank you to really all of you. We are, I think, finishing our 5th year, which is pretty amazing, actually. And 80% of that time, we've done a music fest. I have not, 4 out of 5. I've not added up the total attendance in all those years because we didn't always count very well, but it's got to be 6,000 or 7,000 people that have attended, that full day, no cost music event. We know for sure officially we had 1,850 this year, plus we know others snuck in. We know that we had 77 official volunteers. We raised about $2,000 through the 50-50 and the donations at the gate that people gave. And hopefully, that does go into the Hometown Pride Treasury, which is not a very big treasury. Most importantly, I want to thank everybody, so many of you in this room, city council members, for approving and supporting the event, and in many cases attending. Mayor Phillips for also supporting and being there as an MC. And we did not have a dunk tank this year. So there's Robin. Thank you. Robin's not here, which got many of you off the hook. Parks and Rec, again, no Robin, but did tremendous help for us. Library lent us used parking lot. That helped too. Public Works, we could not do it without Public Works. I was there when one day they were putting up a fence and I took photos and posted it. And the headline was "Good Fences Make Good Music." And obviously the police department and the fire department, and we had EMTs on duty all day long. Economic development, Holly's not here, but I hope it gives economic development something to brag about as they recruit businesses to the city. So we're really pleased with that event, and again, very much appreciate city council support. There aren't too many suburbs of our size that can say 4 years now an outdoor live free music event that we've been pulling off. So it takes a lot of people, and it takes all your support. So thank you. Is Katie here? No, I need to be excused to go learn about Edgar Allan Poe at the library. I'm wondering if she's coming. I don't know which is more dangerous.
Thank you. All right. Yeah. Thanks for all of your volunteer. What you do for Hometown Pride. It's Judy that dreamt up Front Porch Norwalk along with Chief Staples. Yeah. So, which is a great event as well. So thanks for coming, Judy.
You all have been, there's so many of the things we do. I shouldn't be talking. Sorry. You all have been a part of it, supported us. We don't actually.
All right. Anybody else? Hearing nobody, I will we'll move on to item number 5, presentation. Chief Porter, got a new firefighter, paramedic.
Thank you. I just want to take a moment to introduce our new hire. This is Carrie Davis. She came on with us. Actually, she's been a part-time employee with us for 4 years, but she is our new full-time hire that started here at the beginning of October. So I wanted her to have an opportunity to meet all of you, and she was really excited to be here tonight. I think she wanted to say a few words.
I'll bet you did.
Van Iowa. I just wanted to express how thankful and humble I am for the opportunity to serve the citizens of Norwalk.
Yeah. Thank
Good,
you.
thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. And Katie is not here for her presentation yet. If she shows up during consent agenda,
They had class till 6:30.
oh,
So I had just seen a note as I was coming in, that they were probably not gonna be here till about 6:30.
we'll kind of fit them in when they get here. Item 6, consent agenda. We have expenditures, tax abatements, September 15th, 2022 minutes of the regular city council meeting. Have 5-day special class C liquor license for St. John the Apostle Catholic Church effective October 18th, 2022 to October 22nd, 2022. By resolution setting October 20th, 2022 for a public hearing regarding the Farms of Holland Plan Unit Development. We have a resolution approving the intergovernmental agreement creating Metropolitan Des Moines Sister Cities Commission. We have a resolution approving the appointment of Kyle Reeves to the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission to fill a vacancy. We have a resolution approving pay estimate number 3 to Howery Construction for the Great Western Trail Phase 3 Connection Project. A resolution releasing cash surety of $13,725 for Blooming Heights South Plat 1. A resolution releasing completion bond of $161,563 for Sunset Estates Plat 1. A resolution ordering construction of certain public improvements, 2022 PCC street rehabilitation, approving preliminary plans and fixing a date for hearing thereon and taking the bids therefore. We have a resolution to approve the execution of easements for the Beardsley Street and Iowa Highway 28 intersection improvements project. We have a resolution approving starting wage for the newly hired part-time firefighter paramedic Nolan Brunson. We have a resolution approving starting wage for the newly hired code enforcement officer Travis Brockett. A resolution approving starting wage for the newly hired economic development specialist Christopher Cataldo. We have a resolution approving starting wage for the newly hired marketing and communications specialist Ty Lou. We have a resolution approving an agreement with Public Consulting Group for the Norwalk Fire Department. We have a resolution to approve the purchase of a public works street vehicle. And we have a resolution approving the purchase of personal protective equipment. Can I get a motion? Okay, so motion by Cool, seconded by Baker. Lindsay, would you call roll?
Councilmember Lester,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
Livingston.
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 7 is old and new business for consideration, discussion, and possible action. Item A is a resolution approving an agreement for engineering services for the Ridge at Echo Valley Assessment Project. So we're going to be doing some street repairs in the Ridge, and we need to hire engineer for the project. Wayne, anything to add?
The Ridge project has been in a CIP for a handful of years already. You may recall a resident came forward a few months ago, request we do it sooner than what was originally programmed. That's why we're hiring engineering now. Once we have a design in place, design will have to lay out a schedule. This is a big project. It may carry over a few years. But we picked WHKS to do the design, to do all the engineering on it. Jeff Rouse with WHKS is here if anybody has questions specific to the engineering on it.
You said just a citizen requested. It's obviously there's a lot more reason than that for us to move forward on this.
Yeah, that's a good point. We've had one resident come to city council. We've had a handful of residents complain to Public Works about the roadways. It's also a maintenance issue. The streets out there, if you've been out there, their surfaces, it's alligator cracking and they're starting to separate. When we go over there with our plows, we're pulling up more and more material every year. If you drive down to the bottom of that cul-de-sac, you'll see a lot of material down there at the bottom of the street at the end of the road there. So that's a good clarification. That's probably more led by one champion or one spokesperson for more than one person.
It does look pretty deteriorated. Not being out there driving that. I'm sure you go over a few times a day. don't you?
For only being 16 years old, it's pretty abysmal.
But will the sewers and that sort of thing out there, will that be part of the project? Storm sewer?
Some of that's to be determined yet. We've been televising storm and everything we've televised so far is in similar condition to the surface. There's cracking in the storm sewers. As far as we can tell, the water main and sanitary sewers are in fair condition. We may not have to do much with those. We're not planning on anything there at this point. Surprising, a lot of the area does have subdrain, we found. So I didn't think there was. Thought that was part of the reason for the failure is there is still a lot of water out there. But it looks like probably everything within the right of way, including the trails, probably gonna get destroyed and have to be replaced.
Other questions? Any public comment?
Well, I do want to mention, I don't believe any of the citizens are interested in adding. I noticed in here the sidewalks on both sides of the street. They were originally planned, both sidewalks on, the large cart paths. There's, the driveways are too steep coming down. If a sidewalk was going to go into them, they wouldn't work, because of the slope. They're not like a regular driveway where it's leveled out because there was no plan for a driveway or sidewalk.
Yeah.
So I don't think there is any interest in adding a second sidewalk.
Like that.
Yeah, so we had in here, there's a few items we have yet to be determined if they'll be included. One of the council members suggested we do a survey of the residents out there to see what the interest is on the islands. And we were probably gonna include then also the trail. If we only do a trail on one side, we'd likely still assess both sides. Because on other projects, we have installed sidewalk on both sides and assessed each side for that. We'd probably just split the cost up to be even.
And I think that's how they did it when we built. It was both sides paid for the extra wide cart path.
Sure. So the city drafted policy when we used to, street equipment. And I believe sidewalks are part of the project. I can't say for certain. But while it's looking at this, maybe we should take a look and just see what that policy is. It's requirements. And, I can kind of understand where he's coming from too, and that, have a pedestrian pathway off to the side of it. And we're asking that of the other residents in town. We can take a look at it. We ought to see what our policy says.
It was originally set up as a PUD though, as it was only on,
Right.
Because one of them is 8 foot wide. Most places don't have an 8 foot wide sidewalk.
Right. So we're doing a street replacement. All I'm saying is we should look at our policy, and make a decision ourselves,
The assessment policy was written into the code of ordinances and it does say sidewalk is an accessible item, but I don't think it spells out that it must be included. It just says it's an accessible item back to the property owner. But we can dig into it some more.
That we can look to see in that greenways plan that identifies some of the gaps that we have in town, to identify if that area was identified as having gaps, or if because there was trail on one side, if that covered.
Okay, thank you. That'd be good.
That type of policy probably would have been enacted with the NCIS.
That's right.
area.
Yeah.
So, might wanna look at that.
That's how I remember it. You remember that, Jim, at all?
I found the policy in the council meeting. It was
We actually talked
January.
about the policy during department head meeting this last, I think it was last week that.
Okay, good.
Or December.
Putting that out
December
because it
13th.
was a policy that was adopted long enough ago that I think we could idea for council at least to get a copy of it. That's the process we're using to make sure that the current council members know what's in there.
That would require the replacement of a lot of driveways. The entire driveway, it's sloped going down on a steady slope. I don't know how you would ever get a sidewalk to match up to that without a step that would be a
You
lot
don't
of.
think you want a sidewalk that goes like that?
No, I mean, the driveway goes this way and with
Yeah.
the sidewalk coming in it's like, okay, that's gonna be great.
Wouldn't be an agreement.
that would be a mess.
Well, we'll take a look and see what the recommendation.
That's part of what the engineering will hash out too, right?
Correct.
Anything else? Motion to approve resolution.
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Baker, seconded by Cool. Any further discussion?
I do want to make sure that we are on firm ground. I've been publicly told that all of us will be individually and the group sued for accepting that street. Being so new, it's not like Lakewood where they took over a town and it was already in. Each of us in the mayor and the city manager and the council will be sued.
For what
The
purpose?
street assessment or whatever we're going to assess. They're not
Oh,
gonna
I
get a group of citizens.
Well, maybe the city should just choose not to do it.
Yeah, I told him, I said, you're preaching to the choir.
Go gravel.
You know, I told him, yeah, we could go to a gravel road instead. I was
Get there
amazed
soon.
by the whole concept too.
Yeah.
But anyway.
Yeah.
Just want to make sure that we're on firm ground. That's all. I'm not an attorney.
I'm not gonna say that.
Yeah.
Lindsay, would you call roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yeah.
Livingston,
yes,
Lester.
Yes. All right, motion carries. Item 7B is a resolution approving the preliminary plat of Hughes Century Crossing Plat 7. So this plat is for extending Chatham to the east, extending East 18th Street to the north, and provides a trail along the gas line easement. Also, it's going to open up several parcels for development. Luke, anything to add?
This is the, like you said, the next extension of Chatham. It does take Chatham all the way through the Hughes development. It also gets our East 18th Street stub put in. So that road gets completed, which is important for access to the core building and the other stuff going on down there. So other than that, the lot that it creates is an outlot, so it will have future platting that is needed to make those areas developable.
Any questions, discussion?
Yeah, I saw the work they were doing on the golf course for that, you know, pretty impressive. When you look back there and you see how far that baby runs, I mean, you see where they're moving dirt well in the end. And you realize the scope and size of the project is it's starting to get more reality.
Yeah. Sure. Other comments, questions? Any public comment? Hearing none, can I get a motion to approve resolution as presented?
Motion. Second.
Motion by Cool, seconded by Lester. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Lindsay, would you call roll?
Councilmember Cool,
Yes.
Livingston,
yes,
Lester,
Yes.
Baker.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7C is resolution approving the final plat of Scooters Addition. So since all the infrastructure is there for this plat, there wasn't a preliminary plat for this development. Final plat is for the northeast corner lot at Beardsley and Highway 28, and that's going to split that parcel into two lots. And one of those is going to have a Scooters coffee shop on it. We got to add.
That's it in a nutshell. This one's pretty simple. 2 lots. One will have a development that we'll consider with the next item. The other remains vacant until we get a project proposed.
All right. Any discussion, questions, comments?
I noticed on the designs of it, you know, when we were looking at it for the P and Z, that it's set up so that it connects like the private streets or driveways inside there between the lots. Access ways.
Correct. Yep. And then connects up to the Mercy building as well.
Okay.
Which, yeah, you can see better there. This is on the screen is the
Yeah.
site plan layout. So that's the next item, but yeah. There's easements on the plat associated with that.
And that retainer wall that goes in there, then that's well away from, I'm trying to remember back, there's like a gas line that comes through there.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah, they originally had a retaining wall in one location. They had to move that out of the way to avoid utilities. So it's been adjusted to avoid those.
Does they have an expected completion date?
I do not know that.
You getting thirsty for coffee?
Yeah.
Good idea. Good idea.
Any public comment?
Yeah, this is Wally Peltz with Peltz Design Services. I'm just here to answer any questions you might have on our project. Our address is 2323 Dixon Street, Des Moines, Iowa, 50316.
Awesome. Thanks for being here.
What's the square footage of your building going to be there? I mean, I look at the lot, and it's a pretty good sized lot, and I was just curious.
I think some of that we'll discuss on that site plan, but it's there's a stacking requirement. So I don't know if you can see the lightened versions on the screen of the vehicles that are placed in there. The more stacking, the better, in our opinion, just so it doesn't back up into the street. And ideally, it's just the nature of the business. It's just a drive-through business. So you don't need much more, and they can produce a lot of coffee and very good coffee in a short period of time. So that's the
Thank you.
plan.
Any other questions? Can I get a motion to approve resolution as presented?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Baker, second by Cool. Any further discussion? Hearing. Lindsay, call roll.
Councilmember Livingston,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Baker, Cool.
Yeah.
All right, motion carries. Item 7D is resolution approving the site plan of Scooters Coffee Norwalk. We just approved the final plat for this site, and here's the plan where Scooters Coffee is going to be actually located and situated, how the lots are going to be divided. Anything to add?
Just that the site layout itself, access off of Marketplace Drive. Their project does also pave a connection up to the Mercy lot. So they're paving kind of a frontage road across lot 2. Again, the queuing length exceeds code for the pickup area and the drive-through area. They've got ample parking for the area, even though it's a drive-through use. And architectural wise, it's a primarily brick and masonry built or brick and stucco, I think, building was what it was. So meets code from those respects. Yes, brick and stucco. So yeah, happy to answer any questions.
Is there a fence around
The trash enclosure, yes.
Yeah, okay. Well, it looks like a long ways away from the building. It's probably not that far.
Yes, sheet 14 shows the trash enclosure. It's a concrete block enclosure.
Gotcha. Oh, thank you. Any other questions, discussion, comments from the council? Any public comment? All right, can I get a motion to approve the resolution as presented?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Lester. I'm gonna give that one to Ed. Seconded by Cool. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Lindsay, would you call a roll?
Councilmember Lester,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yeah.
Livingston.
Yes.
All right. Motion carries. Item 7E is resolution accepting a huge Century Crossing Parkland agreement. So Luke, I'm just gonna let you take this.
Sure. So this is a parkland agreement with Diligent related to the 2.05 acre park ground that we would accept that is west of the core building. In talking with Diligent about the dedication of that and the condition it needed to be to us, we all kind of agreed that it didn't make sense that they go through the formal grade and final seed of that area, dedicate it to us, and then us turn around and damage it with the construction of the building. So this agreement is essentially to set up us accepting the ground in a rough condition with erosion seed, and then them providing a $13,000 in funds to do the final grading and seeding once the building's done and built. So.
Questions? Any public comment? Hearing none. Anybody want to make a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Okay, motion by Cool, seconded by Baker. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Lindsay, would you call roll?
Councilmember Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Motion carries. Item 7F is resolution authorizing staff to expend up to $10,000 for sewer repairs at the library and city park. So we have a sewer problem there at the library. City park restrooms backed up because it couldn't keep up during Music Fest. This item will authorize staff to get that sewer repaired. We also had a backup at the library recently, and Gene became plunger. Plunger.
good at it.
So, you got anything to add?
Just if there's questions.
Questions? Public comment?
Gary gave me some dirty pictures, but I thought I would only show these if people really wanted to see them. A
Take that two
televised
ways.
sewer line.
Okay.
Is what I'm talking about.
I think it's a good idea to have a functional sewer in the library. I don't know if we can buy enough plungers to do that problem.
And I do want to, the quote they had was for that, it was upwards almost of 7,000. But Gary said that depending on if they run into other issues. So I'm automatically asking for that additional 3,000 just to give them a little leeway if they need to go further.
And just to let you know, we think that's a 4-inch line. Is that right?
Right.
And I asked to make sure that the 3 cleanouts or whatever they're called would fix the problem. Because if it didn't fix the problem and just down the road, I would want to put in a 6-inch pipe.
They are fixing the
It's a
issue.
fix. It's a fix. Yeah. So, anybody want to make a motion to approve that resolution?
Motion?
Second.
Motion by Baker, seconded by Cool. Any further discussion? Hearing none, Lindsay, would you call roll?
Councilmember Cool,
Yes.
Livingston,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item 7G is resolution approving the development agreement with HH Norwalk LLC for easements and stormwater management. Luke Nelson, take it away.
We've been having a number of discussions with HH Norwalk as it relates to our overall Norwalk Central project. From the map that we put in the agenda statement, it just shows the proximity of the HH Norwalk land. The reason that we established a development agreement, originally we were going to do a letter of intent or just a general letter of understanding. We got far enough down the line that we realized we just needed to enter into a formal agreement so that HH Norwalk, Diligent, and the city were all in full agreement of what was going to happen. The main issue that shows up in here, actually 2 really main issues. One is for right-of-way and easement acquisition, wanting to make sure that Diligent can acquire that right-of-way for Chatham and the easement area for sanitary sewer that flows sewer from Norwalk Central north across the Hy-Vee lot towards Colonial Parkway. So those 2, and then the fact that we're doing regional detention, we have to accommodate for undetained water from the location where the rain hits the ground to where that water is detained. And to do that, you can tell from this map that that water used to flow at a diagonal across the HH Norwalk property. So the city worked with HH, both the engineering firm representing HH Norwalk as well as Diligence engineering firm. And there is a diagram in here. Let's see if I can get to it quick. It shows how that stormwater would be rerouted east. I apologize, this map got turned. So north is to the right. In the area that we're talking about, this used to be the path of that water. So what's happening is they are going to capture that, bring it over to this location, and then it would be above ground flow going north that then ends up in that regional detention pond in this general area. So those are all the components within this development agreement, and it gets everybody on the same playing field so that in writing, we all understand how that development is supposed to work out and affect both parties.
I'd also note that the preliminary plat we approved earlier today is that area, which does include that design. So we do know that that's happening how it's
So we
supposed
know
to.
diligence and agreement. that
Yes,
that's happening.
yes.
Are there any questions? That's all I have.
All right. Any public comment?
Motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion by Baker, seconded by Cool. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Lindsay, would you call roll?
Councilmember Livingston,
Yes.
Lester,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
All right, motion carries. Item A. Yes, sir.
If you're willing to take a 2-minute break, they should be here shortly to do that presentation.
Okay, let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna
Sorry, I
take
just
a,
got a text message. They're walking over right now.
yeah, okay, so we'll take a 5-minute recess and then we'll reconvene.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Thank you for the interruption.
Go
Yeah. that's
part
a
of the
good
meeting
idea.
and then we'll get you in.
Okay, yeah. Never stopped recording, did you? Which is good.
But we can go back in session, right?
Yeah, we can go back in session. It is 6:37 PM. Item 8 on the agenda is council inquiries and staff updates. Jim?
No.
David?
I'm just gonna warn Wayne a little bit. I'm getting a lot of questions about road repairs and some of the older roads. And I know we've talked about them a little bit, but I know you've talked about having a good plan in place, but I don't know if we've ever really done a set. We're gonna try to fix this road and that road. Just a heads up, I'm getting a lot more questions on that now than I have lately. I haven't disagreed. I think we're doing them in the right orders and stuff. I just in my mind, there's other roads and I think people are just wondering, is it gonna be 5 years or 10 years or never?
Right.
That's it. And they always go, it's gonna be never, or I'm gonna die before. I'm warning you a little bit because I encourage them to call you.
I was just gonna say, I'd suggest to call in and just let us know like they want it fixed.
I always encourage them to call you. So I'm warning you more from that side of, you get a lot of phone calls. I apologize.
I appreciate it. One frustrating part is our money's not going near as far these days on projects.
Right.
I have seen some slowdown.
No, and that's explaining the limited dollars is usually part of the spiel, but
Maybe sometime too, we could bring out a cup of coffee for the two of us. We could stop down and take a look at the plan. Just remember, then when people call us, we can say, hey, you got a plan.
There you go.
Okay, I have no updates.
Okay, thank you. Luke?
Our new code officer, enforcement officer has been on for about 2 weeks now, Travis Brockett. So he's been doing good, getting his feet wet with stuff, and most of our nuisance stuff is kind of slowing down a little bit now as there's less mowing that's needed and no snow on the ground. So it's a good time to get him acclimated to stuff. And then our comp plan is wrapping up completion. We have a hearing on, let me get the date right, Monday, the 24th for Planning and Zoning Commission. So that'll be our Planning and Zoning Commission for approval. And then we are bringing that to council on the 17th of November.
Awesome.
So a month later. So
We get that wrapped up.
Yep.
How were building permits last month?
I don't have an update yet, since it's the beginning of the month, or she's just wrapping up her reports and stuff, but I will let you know. As far as I know, it's kind of, we got a bunch in at the beginning of September, and then I think it kind of slowed down again. So my gut feeling is it's kind of keeping the same as it had in August and in July, where we're probably around the 15 to 20 mark. So, yeah.
All right, Carrie?
Just to let you guys know, we are, the department heads, we are working on the staffing plan, the 5-year staffing plan for fiscal year 24 through, where are we at, 28? Yeah, through 28 now. And I hope to have that compiled and ready to present in November. So, I'm looking for that.
Thank you. Wait.
Work continues on North Avenue down here. Tomorrow, there's gonna be some temporary asphalt put down on the west end. And then early next week on Monday, we're gonna do some concrete pours over here across from Come and Go. Once those reach maturity and they're hard enough for traffic, then we will switch traffic over to the north side and start redoing the south side of the road. Once we switch traffic over, there'll be full movements on the west side of the highway. On the east side, you'll only be able to exit the highway and go east. You won't be able to go from City Hall back onto the highway. That was in the plan. What we plan on all along, there'll be a detour route up. There'll be some different stages around Come and Go, but just giving you a heads up. And we're gonna get public notices out before we switch over traffic. On the Beardsley project, Neutral Sport has indicated in an email they are agreeable to the easements as approved by council. We don't have anything signed yet back in our hands. The condemnation hearing is still scheduled for November 8th. Snyder's been doing the engineering on that. They're doing a tremendous amount of work on the easements, trying to get those acquired. They have informed me they've gone over what they estimated on time. Similar to the North Avenue one, I said, I want you to keep working on it. What we're probably gonna do is just try to make it right, or we'll discuss it more at the construction contract. But they're all spending more than what we anticipated. And I don't think it's a substantial number. That's it.
All right, thank you. Chief?
September 10th through the 17th, I spent 6 days in Emmitsburg, Maryland at the National Fire Academy. I took an incident command and control class there. It's a really great opportunity. It was one of those FEMA federally funded classes, so it was free for the city of Norwalk, which is a bonus. It was a really great opportunity to learn about command and control of incidents. I'm able to bring that back to our staff here. So I'm glad that I had the opportunity to do that. I was doing some looking at our call volume. Overall, our call volume was about 13% for the year, but for the month of September, we saw a 16% decrease. I thought that was odd too, Mayor. So I did a little further digging. I think that's likely due to the decrease in our mutual aid. We've decreased our mutual aid to Martinsdale by 46%, which I think is pretty huge. We have also decreased our mutual aid to Northern Warren about 15%. So I think it's positive. We're moving in the right direction. Overall, in addition to, the removal of Spring Hill and Lee Township, we're looking at tightening some boundary lines with Martinsdale. We're providing mutual aid today. So I think that's positive for the citizens here. Fire Prevention Week is next week, October 9th through the 15th. So we'll be visiting the schools, talk about fire prevention, and then we will have an open house on Thursday, October 13th at 6 p.m. So yeah.
All right, thank you. Chief.
Last week, Officer Slagle was out patrolling, doing what police officers do, and saw a car at 4 a.m. with the door open and the dome light on, thought that was suspicious. So he did a little investigating and asked Officer Fry to come over to where he was, and one thing led to another. They caught 2 people that had been all over town. They haven't been charged with that yet, still investigating, but if you saw in the crime report from last week, all the car burglaries, that was all that night, and they stopped the 2 kids from Des Moines, caught them in the act, basically. So good job by Officer Slagle and Officer Price.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Thank you. Gene Kelly.
So the auditor will be here November 3rd. Lindsay was just asking me that, November 3rd, to present the audit. We started our capital improvement planning, sent out forms to the department heads this week. And so we're going to be in the swing of the budget here pretty quick. I'll send out a budget calendar next week. You guys can take a look at it and look at your schedules and see if it works for you. Also, our next meeting in October 20th, we'll be bringing some urban renewal amendment stuff. We've been working through details. We have a couple amendments and then an ad, the Dunn site. We're going to start doing some developing down there. So it's going to happen very quickly. So I'll be bringing that on the 20th. And I think that's all I have.
All right, thanks. Holly.
Yes, thank you. Well, first of all, I would just like to say thank you for approving my new staff because I am super excited. They are amazing. If you've read through their histories and their resumes, but they're both on Zoom right now. Ty Liu is our new communications and marketing specialist. And then Chris Cataldo is our new economic development specialist. And both of them, I just feel really blessed that they were interested in coming to Norwalk because I just feel like this really levels us up several games in the metro area. Ty just has crazy skills I can't even explain because I don't work in her world, but right now she's doing things with virtual reality and the metaverse, but she's done campaigns all over the metro for local leaders in cities and just a lot of communications and marketing and high-end tech skills. So we're really excited about that. And then Chris, I've actually worked with before. He came from IEDA originally, and he was there at the time that we were doing our certified site. And that's how I knew him initially. He was in charge of, he helped create and manage the certified site program. So what good timing as we go into this enormous certified site #2 project. I'm like, oh, good timing, Chris, here you go. Just kidding. I'm going to help him. But that's amazing. And he's done finance. Right now he's with workforce development, works in a federal program. So just lots of great experience. So we're all 3 out there, obviously, but I am on my way to Minneapolis tomorrow morning, meeting with Michael Foods headquarters with the Greater Des Moines Partnership, which is pretty exciting because they're talking about these just massive expansions and things that they're looking at doing for their regional headquarters. So we're meeting with them in the morning. So wish us good luck there, but excited. As far as projects and things going on here, Obviously, lots of progress in Norwalk Central that you've seen. When the lights went up, that was such a game changer. Mike with Sportsplex texted, he's like, it's very real. It's very real now. We've got a lot going on in there. Chatham's looking great. We have several parcels, commercial parcels that are in LOIs and just moving forward pretty quickly with all of that commercial and retail land. And I'm really pleased too with the sponsor and the sponsor donor naming rights initiative or campaign that's underway as well through the Sportsplex team. They have some really, really good local businesses that are coming on with pretty large investments in that area, which will really help us overall as we continue to grow and expand in that area. So pretty cool there. And then, as Jean mentioned, we have some urban renewal area amendments coming forward because we have a lot of new commercial areas that we need to add in. The Dunn project to the south with the new developers are calling it Dunn Industrial Park. And so they have several commercial facilities that'll go up here in the next year. So I'll be bringing a draft of development agreement to you in the next couple of weeks on that. And then we have a couple of commercial buildings either underway or will be up and running here soon. Grocery store, new grocery store is still underway that we should have something to you in the next couple of meetings. And then we will also have a couple of amendments coming forward on development agreements. I'm just adding in some new parts of their projects. And I think, we're working on a Napa project. And lastly, I would say that we have a second hotel now that we're working with. And this is same size project as the other hotel that we're working with, almost to the T, maybe just a little bit higher value, but another just national high-end brand. And their total incentive that they're asking for at this point is about $3.5 million. And so before they go forward and complete their purchase agreement of land in the Norwalk Central area, they just want to make sure that we're interested and kind of on board with that plan. So it's really, really positive there. And I think that's it for right now.
All right.
When is Chris's start date?
Monday. Anti.
Anti.
Sounds like she's been a little busy too.
Yeah. And then you're gonna bring both of them in for introduction.
Yes, formal in-person introductions on the 20th.
All right. Looking forward to meeting you guys. Jean Strip.
Thank you. First and foremost, thank you for approving the fix for the sewer. It's a really big deal to us. And just to be upfront, I have been informed we would have to close at least one day because we won't have services. So hopefully it'll be just one day and not two. Also, Assistant Director Annette Clark and myself went to the Association for Rural and Small Libraries Conference in Chattanooga. We learned a lot. We brought back some great ideas, and I think one of the biggest things we brought back was that for a community our size and with staffing that we have, we're really holding our own with services, collections, and programs. So I think Norwalk should be proud of that and know that. We're very happy with that. We have been on the first phase of reworking some of our interior spaces. So we are adding shelving to the last two remaining walls, and there is no more space for growth. This is it. This is the last Band-Aid. And as a reminder, in the November meeting, the second November meeting, the space needs study, architects will be coming to just roll out some of that information about lack of space and what to do about it. We did have a successful hire. We hired 2 part-time circulation assistants, and it was a bit of a struggle. I have worked in libraries for a very long time and managed for a long time, and I've never been skunked on an interview, and I was skunked twice by 2 folks who just didn't show up. They had it all set up and didn't come. But we're really pleased with the 2 hires that we have. I feel like I pulled a coup. One has 14 years in library experience, and the other one, English is her second language. So we are very delighted to be adding someone who's bilingual to our staff. And one starts next week and the other starts the week after. And other than that, lots of activities, including on October 20th, Norwalk is the place to be, not just for council meeting, but if you want to stop over at the library in City Park from 3 to 5 that afternoon, we have the Fall Festival. Kids can be getting their pumpkins and decorations. We have balloon animals. We have face painting, and you will find me at the petting zoo. There's going to be goats, chickens, potbelly pigs, all of the things. So come on over and check out the animals and all of the citizens and children who are going to be playing with them and hanging out.
All right,
We'd love to have you there.
cool. Thank you. Lindsay,
Nothing, thank you.
Brian.
On the MAC advisory, or at the Metro advisory, they went all the way through the process that the airport construction is going through. And they're averaging 25% increases in costs. I just found that devastating. All of our fun that we have going.
Okay.
So anyway, it is what it is.
25 is not, that's not as bad as what I've heard. There's some that are going 30, 35, so.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all. Thank you. Jack is not on. Luke.
Just real quickly, a lot of my work lately has been focused on just a lot of general negotiations between the development agreements that we're working on, really even outside of economic development agreements. That's been taking a lot of time. The negotiations for some of these property acquisitions, which actually have been going quite well. What's disappointing is working on these kind of projects. It's not like when you're done, there's something exciting to talk about. It's just one small step in an overall bigger project. But just letting you know, I've kind of had my nose in the books, and I haven't been out to talk with you all. Certainly I haven't been getting out to some of the public events. I miss not getting to the NPAC. Thanks for trying to set that up for us Tuesday. If there's something to be there. But anyway, just letting you know, things are going well. We're continuing to move on a few projects. So lots of good things coming.
I just got a couple things. There's going to be a discussion about expanding the Board of Supervisors to 5 members. That'll be on Tuesday, October the 11th, 7 p.m. in Indianola. It's going to be held at the Trinity United Presbyterian Church in Indianola. If anybody'd like to go, I'm heading that way and would love to have some company. Let me know.
October 11th. And publicly, thanks to Judy, she's been public on the Facebook pages in Norwalk, telling everybody to go to this as well. So
yeah. Yes, for sure. On Thursday evening, October 13th, from 6:30 to 8:30, there's going to be a Warren County Candidates Forum. It's going to be held at the Wildcats Activity Center over in Carlisle. Same offer applies. I'm going to be head man. Everybody wants to go along. I enjoy the company. And that's all I have. So these guys are ready?
I think they are.
What time is Tuesday? What time was the Trinity Church on Tuesday?
It starts at 7, so we'll leave here about 6:15.
Crowd we've got all night.
Okay, so we're gonna, those online, we're backing up the agenda a little bit to some presentations. And Katie Ralph is here to talk about culture and diversity. Come on up and.
We're going to start, Char's going to start us off.
Okay, awesome.
I'm the first of 3 speakers.
You go for it.
My name is Charlotte Forsythe. I am a volunteer with our local AMIS and ELL programs. AMIS is an acronym for a Mid-Iowa Organizing Strategy. It is an organization of nonprofit, nonpartisan organizations, churches, neighborhood groups, nonprofits like NAMI and workforce development. The volunteers visit with neighbors and try and find what is concerning. And then they address those concerns and work together to resolve them. ELL is an acronym for English Language Learners. In 2017, the staff at the school had a concern with conferences for refugee students. The students had developed well and were doing fine. The parents spoke no English. So as a result, the students had to sit in on all the conferences and translate for their parents. This concern came to our Amos group, and our ELL program to teach English and US citizenship was born. I am so pleased to be here tonight to have two of our students recognized for gaining their citizenship. And I made it through without crying.
Char's a pro at this. She had hers memorized. I do not. I'm going to read so I don't go on and on and on. My name is Katie Ralph. I am also an ELL volunteer and a member of Amos, which is part of our Norwalk Christian Church. As we have gotten to know our students and families, it's become apparent there is a need for conversations around the diversity climate of our schools and community. As Norwalk grows and becomes more diverse, it's important to suss out any problems that may be brewing. Schools and churches are the only institutions providing help right now. So our job as Amos members is to build relationships with others, listen, and then help work towards solutions. So far, during the past few months, we've met with most of the Norwalk Public School administrators, Mayor Phillips and Luke Nelson, and students who are in school now and some who have recently graduated. We've also had ongoing conversations with Police Chief Staples. We are in the process of putting together a video to highlight some of what we learned from the students. It's very enlightening, really will be. We appreciate being able to speak with you tonight and would love to set up a time to meet with you to present to you in more detail what we are learning and to hear some of your ideas. Thank you. Doris.
Good evening. My name is Doris Coase. I'm also part of the Amos Team English Language Learners at Norwalk Christian Church. Two of our students who have been with our program since classes began in 2018 have within the last 16 months taken their citizenship oath. Zahara Mohammed and Fus Farah came to the United States separately from Somalia and Ethiopia. Fus spent many years in a refugee camp waiting to be approved to travel to the United States. Each of them came with their children, but without their husbands due to civil unrest in the country. For nearly 9 years, Zahara and Fus settled in several different US cities and each eventually ended up in Norwalk. Zahara was pregnant with her youngest daughter when she arrived in the United States along with 4 other children. Fus came with 5 children. These women obtained jobs, cared for their families, and then came to our classes at night to learn English and study for citizenship. It's not an easy process. Zahara passed her requirements last year and took her citizenship oath. Fus passed her interview this year and is now our newest citizen. Zahara's husband, Mohammed, obtained his visa in June of this year and arrived to be with his family. He's also started taking classes with us. We're grateful to U.S. Representative Cindy Axme's office, who worked with us on a monthly basis to obtain the latest information on the status of their request. It is so rewarding for us to work with these students and see their successes. Thank you. That's it. Do you have?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll put this down.
Fus Farah and Zahara Mohammed.
Yeah. Yes, so let me do this. Oh, first. Okay. That's a good idea. Okay. So we have a proclamation for you.
that I'd like to read. And we only have one. We'll do it for both.
Okay.
Okay. And this proclamation says, proclamation in recognition of citizenship celebration. This proclamation recognizes and celebrates new United States American citizens residing in the city of Norwalk, Iowa. Whereas the city of Norwalk values contributions of immigrants and new citizens who help foster a spirit of inclusion and that enriches our community and preserves its legacy as a city of freedom and opportunity. And whereas the city of Norwalk wishes to acknowledge immigrants' commitment to the United States of America and its Constitution and to the idea of liberty and justice for all on which this country has been founded. And whereas the city of Norwalk recognizes those becoming citizens of the United States of America who live in Norwalk and choose to enjoy the rights and privileges of full United States citizenship, as we all strive for a more perfect union. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Mayor of the City of Norwalk, recognize Fus Farah, okay, and Zahara Muhammad, who has recently earned the rights and responsibilities incumbent upon every citizen of the United States of America. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the city to be affixed, done in the city of Norwalk, the 6th this day, October 2022. So, congratulations. Yes. So Zahara?
Yes, you can. Thank you.
waqti badan bay la geliyeen inaan English ka barano inaan citizen noqono teacherkayga ka badiyay.
First, I would like to say to you, thank you guys all for all the help that you guys have done. And then personally, they want to thank their teachers for all the help that they have been helping them, especially giving them rides, taking them to places, and then they were able to get their citizenship because of the teachers.
Thank you. Thank you.
So my mom basically said before she arrived in Norwalk, she couldn't basically read or write. Now she's able to read or write because of the teachers or the help that she's gotten. And then and she was able to go take her citizenship test by herself.
Thank you.
They are truly grateful from the bottom of their heart.
Well, we're glad to have you here in Norwalk.
They love Norwalk. I have to tell you, they always tell us how much they love Norwalk.
So, can we get a picture back?
Yes. And they do speak English. That was all in Somali, but they're so overwhelmed and they can't speak all of them.
Yeah, we can't speak all the words either.
Said they were trying to learn some Somali words.
One more, did you get one?
All right.
All right.
I see a couple of princess dresses on there too.
Thanks for waiting.
Good night.
Okay. Moving on. Item number 9 is a closed session pursuant to Iowa Code Section 2151C to discuss strategy with counsel in matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent, where its disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the position of the governmental body in that litigation. Jim, is this valid reason to go into closed session?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Can I get a motion to move into closed session?
Motion.
Second.
Motion by Cool, seconded by Lester. Lindsay, would you call roll?
Councilmember Lester,
Yes.
Baker,
Yes.
Cool,
Yes.
Livingston. No, she's gone.
Right, so motion carries. We will go into closed session and take a couple minutes.